Hello friends and welcome to the lecture. So students, as we know that we are starting the Panchayati Raj institutions and basically you can say that we are covering the Panchayati Raj institutions. Alright, in this particular series, these are the topics we have scheduled for the discussion, like the introduction part, thereafter the evolution of the Panchayati Raj, thereafter the 73rd Amendment Act of 1992, thereafter the compulsory and the voluntary provisions, thereafter the PAISA Act of 1996, which is also known as Extension Act, thereafter finances of the Panchayati Raj, thereafter the reasons for ineffective performance. Okay, these are the things that we have scheduled for the discussion under this particular series of the Panchayati Raj. Out of this, we have done with the introduction part. Okay, and what we have been discussing, we have discussing the evolution of Panchayati Raj institution. Okay, and the topics we are left with is the 73rd Amendment Act of 1992, compulsory and voluntary provisions, PAISA Act of 1996 Extension Act, finances of Panchayati Raj, and reasons for ineffective performance. Okay, so we will start from where we had left. So let's begin. Okay, so now we are going to talk about the GVK RAO committee. Okay, we have talked about the Balwant Rai committee, Ashok Mehta committee. Now what we are going to do is that we are going to talk about the GVK RAO committee. So basically the committee was you can say appointed to review the existing administrative arrangements for the rural development. That was the first thing they were tasked to review it. Okay, and the second one was poverty alleviation programs. Okay, under the chairmanship of GVK RAO. Which body appointed it? Planning Commission in 1985. So remember the time period was 1985. Okay, but the question is that it was not appointed directly to look after the Panchayati Raj. Remember this. It was not appointed directly to look after the Panchayati Raj. What it was affected for? It was appointed for the two main purposes: to review the administrative arrangements for the rural development and poverty alleviation programs. Okay, and appointed by the body which we call as a Planning Commission in 1985. The committee came to conclusion that the developmental process was gradually bureaucratized and diverse from the Panchayati Raj. Okay, like why they were saying this? Let me tell you very clear. When we talk about the Panchayati Raj, when we talk about the Panchayati Raj, what is the main aim behind establishing it? The main aim was local government. Okay, and the local government signifies that there must be regional participation. Okay, it means that the locals or the regionals who were living there, they must be participated in the governance form. That is the main aim of the Panchayati Raj. But when the committee was appointed in the 1985, so these programs which we are seeing here, they were for the regional welfare mainly. All right, but what was happening? That they were bureaucratized. It means that the governmental elements, whether they are central or state government elements, they were participating or interfering in these programs. Okay, which means that the main aim of the local government or the regional participation was hindered due to interference by the bureaucracy. Okay, so that's why the committee said that the developmental process was gradually or slowly bureaucratized and diverged from the Panchayati Raj. All right, and basically they named this phenomena of bureaucratization of developmental administration as against the democratization weakened the Panchayati Raj institutions, resulting in what is aptly called as the grass without roots. It means that the Panchayati Raj is the grass, okay, like you could see it here. But if you go deep down in the administration and in the form, then what you will realize that it's having no roots. Why? Because instead of the local participation, the participation was mainly by the bureaucratization, or you can say mainly the bureaucracy was participating in it. Hence, the committee made the following recommendations to strengthen and revitalize the Panchayati Raj system. It means that their conclusion was this, and how to overcome this, they had suggested some ways. Like the first, the district level body. Okay, like we had discussed in the Panchayati Raj, there are total three bodies. First is village level, then comes at block level, then comes at district level. At village level, there is a Gram Panchayat. Block level, there is a Panchayat Samiti. District level, there is a Jila Parishad. Okay, so the district level authority, which means that they are talking about the Jila Parishad. All right. The Jila Parishad should be of the pivotal importance in the scheme of democratic decentralization. Okay, it stated that the district is the proper unit of planning and the development, and the Jila Parishad should become the principal body for management of all development programs which can be handled at that level. Which means that if we look at here, the top level is the Jila Parishad. Jila Parishad is at the top level. So basically, the you can say the committee was in the favor that instead of dividing the work at odd level, we should give the all the works and their management to the Jila Parishad or at the top level. Then the Jila Parishad should delegate the work. Okay, which means that there will be a uniform control on local development programs. Uniform control on local development programs. All right, that's the main thing. All right. The Panchayati Raj institutions at the district and the lower levels should be assigned an importance role with respect to the planning, implementation, and monitoring of rural development programs. It means that the district level will having the main role, like they will decide the planning, the goals they want to be achieved. Then they will delegate it to the block level and the village level. So whatever tasks they will be assigned by the district level or by the Jila Parishad, they are required to make the planning regarding the task completion. Thereafter, implement the planning and monitoring the progress. Okay, so that was their proposal. Thereafter, some of the planning functions at the state level should be transferred to the district level planning units for effective decentralized district planning. Like we could say, like they are saying, if we talk about the state government having the important role to promote the plannings in the different districts. Okay, but every district requires the different things, and it is not possible that the state legislature, which is responsible for making the planning and all, they are well aware about the needs and the demands of every district. So what they were suggesting? They were suggesting that the state legislature should give several works to the districts and let it on the districts, that districts having the role to fulfill the goals, so that local development could be ensured. Thereafter, a new post was proposed, which is a district development commissioner should be created. He should act as the chief executive officer of the Jilla Parishad and should be in charge of all the development departments at the district level. Okay, like when they were saying that the district authority must having the all over control, which means that the district development commissioner should be appointed, who will be the CEO or the chief executive officer of that committee or of that parishad. All right, and he will be the in charge of all the development departments at the district level, not on the all levels of the Panchayati Raj. Remember this, only the district level. Okay. Thereafter, election to the Panchayati Raj institution should be held regularly. It found that elections became overdue one or more times in the 11 states. Like we could say, when we talk about the election to the Panchayati Raj. So at 3 levels, the process of election is different. First level is the Gram Panchayat, which is the most basic level. Then comes the Panchayat Samiti. Then comes the Jilla Parishad. All right. At Gram Panchayat, there is a direct elections. At Block Samiti, there is a indirect elections. At Jilla Parishad, there is a indirect elections. All right, and that is the rule. Like if somehow any of the committee dissolve, then within 6 months from the date of dissolve, new assembly, or you can say new elections, must be organized. 6 months from the date of dissolve, new elections must be organized. All right, so that was a thing. But what was actually happening in the 1985, that elections were overdue for one or more times in 11 states, which is a huge number in itself. Thus, the committee, in its scheme of decentralized system of field administration, assigned a leading role to the Panchayati Raj in local planning and development. It is in this respect that the recommendation of the GVK. Basically, what you can say, that the committee was in the favor that the state authorities must delegate the local planning and the development programs to the Panchayati Raj, so that the interference from the state bureaucracy could be prevented. All right. Rao Committee Report 1986 differed from those of the Dantwala Committee Report on block level planning 1978 and Hanumanta Rao Committee Report on district planning 1984. Both committees have suggested that the basic decentralized planning function should be done at the district level. But in the Rao Committee 1986, they said that district level having the primary role, but the task must be assigned to the all levels independently, and the right, or you can say the 3 main rights for planning, for implementation and monitoring rights must be assigned to them independently. All right. Thereafter, the Hanumanta Rao Committee advocated separate district planning bodies under either the district collector or a minister. In both the models, the collector should play a significant role in the decentralized planning through committee. It stated that the Panchayati Raj institutions would also be associated with this process of decentralized planning. All right. Thereafter, the committee recommended that the collector should be the coordinator at the district level of all developmental and planning activities. Thus, the Hanumanta Rao Committee differed in this respect from those of the Balwantaraya Mehta Committee and the Administrative Reform Commissions of India, the Ashok Mehta Committee, and finally the GVK RAO Committee, which recommended reduction in the development role of district collector and which assigned the major role to the Panchayati Raj in development administration. Why? Because the district collector is the part of state bureaucracy. Okay, and the committees which were appointed to look after the local planning and developments and all, okay, their mainly concern was empowered the local governance and reduce interference by the state bureaucracy. All right. After this committee, the next committee we have is the LM Singhvi Committee. Okay. In 1986, the Rajiv Gandhi government, just after the another year of the GVK RAO, the Rajiv Gandhi government appointed a committee to prepare the concept of revitalization of Panchayati Raj institutions for democracy and development. Okay. So if the question asks in the examination, like what was the theme behind appointing the LM Singhvi Committee? So the correct answer is revitalization of the Panchayati Raj institutions for the democracy and development. And who was the chairman of the committee? Chairman was LM Singhvi. So basically it made the following recommendations, like the Panchayati Raj institutions should be constitutionally recognized. It means that the constitutional recognition must be provided, protected and preserved. What does it mean? It means that once the constitution recognition will be granted to the Panchayati Raj institution, then what will happen? It will become hard to make any changes in powers and functions of the Panchayati Raj. Okay, so that the Panchayati Raj institutions role could be protected and preserved and no unnecessary interference could be done. All right, that was a thing. For this purpose, a new chapter should be added in the Constitution of India. This will make their identity and integrity reasonably and sustainably inviolate. It means that no state machinery could easily alter the functions and the powers, as I have told you, once they got registered in the books of the Constitution. Also suggested the constitutional provision to ensure the regular, free and fair elections to the Panchayati Raj bodies. Okay. They also advocated the Nyaya Panchayat, okay, which should be established for a cluster of village. What does it mean? It means that group of villages. For example, suppose if there are total 500 villages. Okay, so if we go to establish the Naya Panchayat for one village, so how many panchayats we will have to organize? Total 500 Nyaya Panchayats, which is a huge number because in maintenance of this, the government has to spend more and more. But instead of this, if we formed a cluster of every 50 villages, for example, then how many panchayats we are have to, you can say, establish? Total 10 Nyaya Panchayats. Okay, so that was the proposal. Like instead of appointing the panchayat individually, we must appoint it for the cluster of villages. Okay, the villages should be recognized to make gram panchayats more viable. It also emphasized the importance of the gram sabha and call it as the embodiment of the direct democracy. So what do you mean by the direct democracy and the indirect democracy? Like when we talk about the direct democracy and indirect democracy. So in direct democracy, people directly participate in policy and law making provisions for their you can say governance. People directly participate in policy and law making provisions for their governance. But when we talk about the indirect democracy, people instead of direct participation elects their representatives who participate in law making provisions and policy formulation. Like when we talk about India, so India having the indirect democracy, you are not going to participate in the parliament directly, in the state legislature directly. You appoint people from your area who going to represent your points, views, and demands, and then the policy and the lawmaking participation would be held. But when we talk about the direct democracy, so at villages, the people directly participate in the panchayat decisions and influence the lawmaking and the policy formulation. So direct democracy would be promoted. Thereafter, The village panchayat should have more financial resources so that they could do the work effectively. The judicial tribunal should be established in each state to adjudicate controversies about election to the Panchayati Raj institutions, their dissolution, and other matters related to their functioning. Okay, so that was the recommendations of the LMCQ. So students, basically in this lecture we have finished till here. In the next lecture we will continue from here. Till then, just revise all the facts and figures which we have discussed in this lecture and be ready for the another lecture. With this note, let's end this lecture, and what we say thank you.